One of the most common phenomenons in competitive gaming is tilt. Tilt is that nagging anger whenever a team fight goes south. Tilt is when you blame your support for not healing you when you win in 1v6. And tilt is when you've lost 6 games in a row and you queue up yet again to lose for a 7th time. My personal journey with tilt began when I started playing League of Legends and ranked. The majority of the time, I'd be fine. I'd be calm, supportive, positive, but occasionally I would go on a massive losing streak and just lose my mind. My team was retarded, I was a god, and I was being held back in bronze by the whims of matchmaking. But over time, I began to recognize my own problem with tilting and started to look up ways to combat it. But unfortunately, I never really found a good answer. I never found many practical tips that I could implement to actually stop tilting. And I'm not claiming that I found the one perfect process, the one perfect method. But I have discovered through my own self reflection a way that you can hopefully not tilt so hard in your own games. So, without further ado, step one. You have to understand the root of your tilt. This is an exercise in self reflection, and it's not easy. For me, I found that I tilt when I don't understand why I made a mistake. For example, recently I've been struggling with my Genji ultimates. Whenever I ult, I don't get a kill, and I get angry because I don't know why I wasted my ult. I don't understand what happened. This leads me to start externalizing my own failure by blaming my teammates, aka my diva should have defense matrixed me or my support should have healed me. The problem is no longer framed in terms of how I can improve, but is instead outside of my control. And this leads to toxicity and vocalizing my frustration because I feel like I no longer have control over the game. And this is not necessarily the only cause of tilt. You have to find your own reason. You have to find your own root cause. And this is difficult. But one technique that I use to kind of find the root cause of any problem is the 5 whys technique. The basic idea is that you ask yourself why questions 5 times in a row to try and find the root cause. An example of this applied to my problem of tilt. A. Why did I yell at my support? Because I died during my ultimate. Why did I blame my support for dying? Because I ran out of health. Why did you run out of health? I don't know. If you don't know, why did you blame your support? Because someone made a mistake. But why did you blame your support if you don't know who made the mistake? Because I just needed to blame something. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this process of problem solving, finding the root cause and then finding a solution. This can be applied to anything, not just Overwatch, but this is how I applied it to find the root cause of my own tilt. Step 2. Once you understand the problem, you gotta find a solution, or a few solutions to try and fix your tilting issue. Because my own personal problem with tilt stems from not understanding why I failed, the solution for me is to watch pro VODs of people in the same situations that I was in and making the correct play and understanding what all the factors that led to that play being successful. Now that's something that I do outside of the game, but when I'm inside the game, I also take another practical measure to keep myself cool. One of the bad habits that I have is whenever I die, I immediately go on push to talk and start blaming people or start complaining. One of the things I do then to combat that is I just mute my microphone when I find myself about to go off on someone, and that's a physical way of not allowing myself to be tilted. Obviously I still have that mental problem, but at least I'm kind of using a physical thing to try and stay calm in one way, or at the very least not spread my issue to other players. And I'm less likely, if I don't vocalize my complaints, I'm less likely to start internalizing that idea that it's all my teammates' fault and I'm perfect. So step 3, consistency is the key with this. If you only half-ass your implementation of your anti-tilt plan, you're not going to help yourself at all. Discipline is the key to being successful at anything in life, and tilting is no different. For me, I keep a spreadsheet where I detail not only a bunch of statistical details about the game, but also my personal mental state. And I kind of try and delve deep into what specific things happened in the game that led me to behave in a certain way or say certain things, and is very helpful for keeping myself accountable. It's a place where I have to be brutally honest and I have to be truthful, and it's not always fun, but it's a way of keeping myself disciplined by saying after every game I will always do this. It helps me just kind of stay grounded, and I'm less and it just helps me over the long haul stay consistent. And that's it. That's how I fight tilt in game. That's the process, that's the method that I use. And so to recap, you need to understand the root cause of your tilting issue before you can begin to fix it. It's not as simple as just saying, okay, I'm going to be positive in this game. I'm going to understand, I'm just going to be super happy. It doesn't work like that. You need to understand why you have these negative feelings in the first place. And so, to that end, you have to use the 5 whys technique. You have to use some kind of technique to find the root cause of your problem. And once you know that, you can then start to implement a solution, and then you can start to try and keep yourself disciplined in following through with that. If you found this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you shared it with your friends on Discord or Twitter, as well as liking and subscribing here on YouTube. Thank you all for watching. That'll be all for today.